No, chat, what we're going to do is we are going to do a the Frank video. True facts about the beaver. I'll give you a clue. It takes a long it can take a long time to get going. There you go. There's your true fact. So, let us be entertained and perhaps horrified based on what we've seen in the last couple of Z-Franks, with what we can learn about beavers. Shall we?
This episode is sponsored by Curiosity Stream, smart TV for your smart TV. This is a beaver. You've probably heard of their dam building and tree cutting. Jenny, what's wrong with this beaver? He's not even trying. Look at him, he's drunk. Oh, that's better. It's a baby beaver. They're very cute. However, aside from humans, no other living animal does more to modify its environment for its own purposes. Beavers like it wet, and they're very good at making things wet. But when? How does
Freezing.
the beaver, and why does it beave? Here are true facts about the beaver. To understand the beaver, you should know that it is a rodent. Rodents are the furry little meatballs of the field and forest. Just the right size for a snack. Who among us has not wanted to beer batter a hamster at some point? Guilty. Those flies are waiting for the cafeteria to open.
Oh my God.
Being delicious, one thing that rodents became very good at is hiding. Old school beavers weren't into all this swimming and tree cutting business, but they could sure piss you off in a game of hide and seek. Look at this thing. When people first discovered it, they didn't know what it was. They called it the devil's corkscrew, because apparently the devil has big bottles of wine. Personally, I think devil's bicycle seat or devil's catheter would have been more devil-appropriate.
Oh, God. Oh, that just made me involuntarily wince, calling it the devil's catheter. Oh, God. Chat, how would you like to have this catheter inserted?
It's the fossilized tunnel of Paleocastor, a beaver that lived 20 million years ago. See? Good at hiding.
What the is that?
At some point, the ancestor of the modern beaver got into swimming. It's a good way to escape predators, especially if you're a clumsy, waddling football of flesh. On land, the beaver isn't exactly graceful, but in the water, it is exactly graceful. Its paddle tail, which is more flexible than a cat's, becomes a rudder. They tuck their little hands up under their chin and let their big webbed feet do the swimming. Underwater, a thin see-through membrane covers their eyes. Their nostrils close up, and they have extra flesh on the inside of their lips that can close behind their front teeth. This allows them to carry things and even eat down there without getting a mouthful of water. It's just like my mother used to say, you try and find an open orifice on an underwater beaver. Good luck with that. The other thing that happened along the way was that beavers developed a taste for wood. Now, anyone can get a taste for wood, but to actually eat it is another matter. You need the right equipment.
Chat, do you have a taste for wood? Me? Do you want some nice, hard wood?
And rodent teeth are the...
Better to go to the forest and eat beaver before beaver eat you. Cheer 100.
Oh, Aaron, you don't need to go to the forest to eat beaver. Didn't you know that? There's no need to go all the way out into the woods, although that can be a nice spot for it.
Right equipment. Let me explain.
Blue
There
tuber.
are two main hard substances in a tooth, dentin and enamel. In our teeth, dentin helps anchor the tooth and enamel forms a little cap that sticks out of our gums.
Listen, if it's gonna get served up to me on a plate, I'm gonna eat it. And thank you, Sparky, for the tier 1. Thank you.
Enamel is incredibly hard, the hardest thing our body makes, shush now, and it protects our teeth from wear and tear and forms a chewing surface. Enamel...
Sorry, me back it up.
Now, and it protects our teeth from wear and tear and forms a chewing surface. Enamel is made from densely packed crystals of a mineral called hydroxyapatite. That's right, our teeth are made from something called apatite. That's like a dad joke time bomb.
Interesting.
But you can't just fart a crystal out. It's a whole process.
Wait. Potato, did I? I didn't even realize I had. I didn't do it deliberately. I didn't actually realize I'd done that. Okay. Guess it's fitting.
Special cells called ameloblasts crawl around and leave a little snail trail of proteins behind them. Crystals then grow on these proteins. See those little cross-hatched lines? Each one of those lines was created by a single ameloblast cell. Up close, enamel is like a woven tapestry.
Sheer 100 aspen is the favorite wood of the beaver.
How cool that is? Is it simply because where beavers are located at that aspen is the most prevalent type of tree? Is that why it's their favorite? Or is it just their favorite because it's the easiest to chew through? That's the question. Like, why is it their favorite wood? Because of taste? Because of ease? So yeah, because it's softer wood? Is it just in larger quantities where they are located? Yeah. Oh, I should have said it in the Dami Mommy voice. Ah. Okay. Okay. Okay, now that makes sense, Potato. Well, I mean, Hoseki, I suppose if they have multiple options presented to them, then yeah, they might get choosy if they have multiple good options.
Of crystal. So when teeth grow in your mouth hole, dentin is formed and enamel is layered on top of it. But when they're done, the cells that make enamel self-destruct and disappear. And that's it. If you break your enamel, you can't grow any back. That's okay for us because we eat relatively soft things like delicious meats and cheeses. But other animals like horses have to really chew the shit out of their food. And they would wear through our little enamel nubbins in no time. The enamel in horse teeth is laid out in sort of tube-like shapes that run up the length of the tooth. These are long teeth that slowly emerge as the horse ages. Here you can see the teeth of a young, healthy horse. I mean, not that healthy, its flesh is missing, and it's been cut in half. But healthy before that. Anyway, here is an old horse, and you can see that the teeth are almost completely gone.
Wow.
This horse won't be able to eat much longer because it's lost its appetite.
And it's skit. Don't forget about that, see Frank.
That's it. So what about rodent teeth? Well, we'll get to that after a brief message about our sponsor.
Ad time.
Curiosity Stream has thousands of shows and movies about all sorts of
Ad
topics.
time.
Nature, history, science, food, whatever tickles your knowledge bone. And it's only $14.99
Yeah,
for
like,
an entire year.
Here's the thing
I
with
didn't know
rodent
things could
teeth,
cost that little anymore.
because I know
They
this is
charge
a thing with
$14.99 just to look at
hamsters.
gas prices
Rodent
these
teeth are
days.
constantly
And gas
growing. That's
stations
why
don't
you
have
need to
shows
make
like the
sure
Great
that you have
Penguin
like pet
Rescue.
hamsters.
Here's a transition
They
for
need
you.
to constantly
It's a show
have
about these
essentially
penguins
chew
in South
toys,
Africa that
like
didn't get the memo
wood
that
block
they should
chew
be
toys for
living
them to
somewhere
chew on, because
freezing.
otherwise
So instead, they hang out
their
on
teeth will
beaches, which is
overgrow
crazy.
and kind of
Some of them need
grow
rescuing from
into
time
their
to time,
mouth
it
and
turns out that
require a
it's not
vet
as
to
easy
take
as
care
you
of
might
it.
think. Sure, they can get a little bitey, but they're very cute. But if adorable penguins aren't your thing, there are 35
Wow.
collections of curated programs handpicked by
Really
experts.
cryptic.
Check it out.
Yeah.
Go to
Bird beaks too.
and use code
Yep.
ZayFrank to sign up. Just $14.99 for the whole year. I'm a fan and happy to have them as a sponsor. Where were we? Oh, right. Rodents have some next-level toothage. Their front teeth never stop growing, and their enamel-producing cells don't self-destruct. These teeth don't have a root like ours do, but they start crazy far back in the head. These front teeth have two basic layers, dentin in the back and enamel in the front. But right on the front surface, there is a thin layer of enamel that has iron incorporated into it. This is what makes it orange, but it also makes it extra hard. And because of this, the front of the tooth wears down more
Interesting.
slowly than the back. And you know what that means? Their teeth are essentially a self-sharpening chisel. Look at that right there. This one's sort of shaving strips of wood with his bottom teeth.
Yeah.
Now, beavers only eat a very thin layer on the outside of the tree. That's the living tissue where the nutrients are. and they prefer smaller, tender branches and even leaves. But they go through the ones they can reach and that are close to the safety of water fairly quickly. To get to the higher branches, they couldn't be bothered to learn how to climb, like basically every other rodent. Beaver was all like, I don't go to branches, friggin' branches come to me. So when beavers cut down trees, they're not eating that part of the tree. They're just bringing the good stuff closer to the ground. Now to begin, beavers will usually make a deep cut on one side. It's like a game of chicken between a tree and a beaver head, to the death. If unsquished, the beaver will move to the other side to finish up. They listen carefully for any cracking sounds to make sure they can waddle away slowly to safety. Now there's a scientist that suggests that beavers can actually control the direction of the tree fall, planning the cuts so the trees fall toward the water where the beaver is safe. But it's not clear if this research...
You know what? Honestly, that's a very plausible theory in my mind. That over the course of generations of beavers, that they figured out, okay, if I cut it, if we chew and we cut into it on this side, to a certain degree, it will fall this way. Like, and this would be like a multi-generational learning process, but the science behind that is probably very sound. Yeah, it makes absolute sense. Yeah, well, Wolfie, I'd say humans learned it from the beavers. That's the thing, humans probably learned how to do this by watching beavers. So, we have to thank the beavers for instructing us on how to safely cut down trees.
Research was peer-reviewed. Jerry, that's a typo. It's peer-reviewed. No, I'm not saying the same thing. I'm saying peer, like someone in the...
What joke? What are you talking about? I don't know what joke you're talking about.
Typo. It's peer-reviewed.
Oh.
No, I'm not saying the same thing.
Is it true that clean beavers get more wood?
I will say it depends. We'll just say it depends. And leave it at that.
Which was peer-reviewed. Jerry, that's a typo. It's peer-reviewed. No, I'm not saying the same thing. I'm saying peer, like someone in the same field. No, they're not peeing in a field, Jerry. No one's peeing. Just leave it. Once the tree is horizontal, the beaver will start cutting branches down to size and dragging them back to the water. There they will eat them or submerge them and store them for later. Remember, it's just a thin layer on the outside that they eat, so there's a lot of stick garbage left over and lying around. One idea is that beavers evolved a set of fairly simple instincts about what to do with all those dicks. One instinct that even baby beavers have is
And Crumb Brindle! Thank you for the tier 1. Thank you very much.
pile stuff on top of other stuff. And just that can have some perks. Here, look at this big bank with a beaver hole in it. Starts off as just a regular old tunnel in the dirt. Then they start piling sticks on the ground above. A little weird, but that's enough to prevent the ground from freezing where they sleep. And when the dirt roof of their little tunnel...
Better to sink in the beaver than beaver in the sink. Cheer 100.
Very funny.
tunnel collapses, they've got a wood roof. But it's not just a pile of sticks. They have an instinct to fill in gaps and smooth things out. They bring in piles of mud with their little hands and pack it all in there. But they don't do this on the part that's furthest from the water, creating some airflow. Let's face it, beavers can get a bit musky. And they keep at it. If the water rises, they can build up higher. And pretty soon, they're not living in the dirt. They're living in a stick condominium. They can build these homes out in the middle of a pond, too. They don't build it around themselves like a bird's nest. Same basic rules. Build a pile, pack it in, and then tunnel into it and make yourself some rooms. It's cozy in there. I know what you're thinking. What is that beaver doing? Well, that beaver's eating chili right out the can, so to speak. You see, the problem with eating wood is that it's wood. It's not like a ding-dong with a creamy center. I mean, it's actually freaking wood. So to digest it, the beaver has to eat it twice. After the first go-round, I guess it still has some flavor. Like if you found some leftover chewing gum that had been in your ass. So not only do beavers have to chew the crap out of their food, they have to chew the food out of their crap. All right, I'm done. Anyway, that's what they do, and the end product is essentially sawdust. But that's not all that comes out the back of a beaver. They have anal glands, and I'm not talking about glands that get uptight when you're late for a party. I'm talking about glands in their anus that produce an oily substance that the beavers rub all over their body. It's like when you waterproof your shoes with a bit of oil, except this comes out of their butt. Those back paws there, by the way, have a special grooming claw on them. It has 2 nails on it, like a really cheap comb.
In Hoseki, I was thinking that too. This is the gland that we heard about from Internet Historian. That is that perfumers will go after for scent for making new scents. It's that very gland. It's also good for waterproofing too, apparently. You know what? It makes me wonder if for a while that the beaver glands were sought after for waterproofing purposes. That it kind of makes me wonder about that too. If it would be possible to harvest the beaver gland and use it to waterproof clothing, like coats or something. I wonder if that would be possible, because you can get the scent gland, you can get their scent gland for perfume. Could you not get this gland also for that purpose?
But it helps get that butt oil all up in there.
Yeah. Wolfie, Gore-Tex, but is that waterproofed via, I'm guessing Gore-Tex is probably done via chemical waterproofing versus doing this.
Nails on it, like a really cheap comb, but it helps get that butt oil all up in there. And that's not all. There's another tap on that backside soda fountain. They have castor sacs near the base of their tail, which produces Castoreum. It's a yellowish goo they use for scent marking. Beavers build these little...
So that's the gland for the perfume. The other waterproofing gland is a totally separate one, is what you're saying. That's the castor gland. That's the perfume gland.
Piles around their territory. They climb up on them and they sort of fart out some Castoreum. Told you. You get a whiff of that, you know whose turf it is. It's also how females communicate that they are ready to mate. Apparently, Castoreum smells and tastes kind of sweet and leathery, and it's been used in perfumes and food. Someone was the first person to figure that out. Guys, check.
Okay, chat. Did you happen to catch what he said about the females? The females let the males know that they are ready to mate by farting on them. That's how they know. Kinda puts a whole new spin on some of these e-girls that sell their farts in jars, huh?
This out. The stuff that comes out of a beaver's ass tastes just like vanilla. Anyway, what beavers do inside their own home is their business. Oh my. You could open a beer with that yawn. It's very cozy in there, but if you live in a house that's half underwater, you're going to have to deal with leaks. Beavers are very sensitive to the movement and sound of water where it's not supposed to be. And when they find a leak, they do it right. They go round to the outside to fix it. The sound of water also seems to be an important trigger for dam building. It's not the constant sound of rushing water, but rather the uneven burbling of water moving over an obstruction. Under the right conditions, when beavers hear this sort of sound...
Brindle?
Yep, while our women just stand there and complain on guys not taking action.
Brindle? My guess is someone, at some point in history of extracting these glands, had to taste it. That's the only way to find out. Some poor sap was either conscripted to doing it or just went, gee, I wonder what this tastes like. Vanilla. People are strange.
They seem to want to stop it. First, they'll put a pile of sticks right at the source of the sound. On the downstream side, they'll pin some larger branches as cross braces against the current. Then on the upstream side, they'll pack it in with finer materials. Sound familiar? So this mini dam is now on top of the source of the original sound. But the water goes around it and makes new pockets of sound. So the beaver beeves and the rest of the dam gets built. It's almost like you could think of dam building as the plugging of a very large leak. You know what some people do? They play water sounds through loudspeakers to try to trick beavers into building dams in specific places. Got some time on your hands if you're messing with beavers like that. These dams can flood massive areas.
You know what? That reminds me of something else humans have done to try and encourage animal behavior. So with this one, he was just saying that humans, if they want beavers to actually actively build a dam, they'll play water sounds to engage that instinctive behavior. They've done something in a similar vein with wolves, where I heard about this wolf research scientist. For the life of me, I can't remember his name. But he actually lived with a small pack of wolves, almost 24 hours a day for a long time. And what he did, and he developed a method where to keep wolves from encroaching onto human territory, he would set up loudspeakers playing wolf howls to indicate this is my territory. There would be territorial wolf howls that would keep other wolf packs away from the human settlements. So it reminds me a lot of that same kind of methodology to utilize instinctual animal behavior for the benefit of humans.
This extends the beaver's territory, but it also
maybe,
stabilizes the
Wolfie.
water level and creates a predictable environment. Most
this is a more
rodents
humane
don't really
way.
have these kinds of predictable environments, so they make lots of babies as a kind of insurance, and they don't invest a lot in raising them. That often means high infant mortality. But beavers took matters into their own little creepy hands and evolved to control their environment. So they do it different. They form monogamous pairs, often for life, and they care for their babies for a couple of years. And this is important because the instincts in young beavers need to be refined by watching and learning from their parents. Their first attempts at dam building are pure crap, and their first lodges are like the first apartments that kids get after college. You know, there's a lava lamp, a futon, and a half-eaten bagel. And the futon's so gross you choose to sit on the bagel. And he's all like, where's my bagel? And you've got explaining to do. But over time, these young beavers will learn how to build incredible... Oh my gosh, did you see that? The big beaver took the stick and the little one headbutted him. Jerry, did you see it? It was a real headbutt. He used his head on his butt. Play it again, Jerry.
God.
No, don't fade it out. Oh, you're still mad about the peer review thing, aren't you? No, Jerry, I do understand what you heard. You heard peer, like one who pees, right? But Jerry, that's not a word. Queer isn't one who quees. It would need 3 E's in it. P-er.
Oh, God.
Seer? Oh, that's interesting. Seer is sort of like what you're saying. But hold on, Jerry. The bigger point here is that you thought urination was somehow part of scientific review. What did you think peer review was? Well, Jerry, that's not science. That's niche pornography. Idiot.
That's a water sports joke. That was great. See, Frank always delivers well. We love our Z Frank.